Come on over, it's time for Tim Friend. Hey, welcome back to Tim Friend. I've got some, I'm finding some leftover burrito in my teeth. And so if you hear me go, it's because I'm getting burrito out of my teeth. So that's fun. Everyone likes a little burrito getting out of their teeth story. It's one of the, it's like man versus nature, man versus society, man versus himself, whatever. And, but this time it's about teeth and burritos. And I think that's the, I think that's one of the great novel sort of, stories. Not novel stories, sort of novel archetypes of our generation is just having, fuck you, sane, having shit in your teeth and trying to get it out. But, it's actually kind of a thing I have, a lot. Not that I just have food in my teeth a lot, but I'm not very good at, how would I say this? Not very good at being polite about getting it out. I'm much more likely to actually just be like, in public, just being like, with my fucking tongue everywhere and shit like that, trying to get shit out of my teeth, than I am to be like, go to a bathroom and get shit out of your teeth that way. Because I never actually learned that if that was like correct behavior or not, and I'm pretty like mentally self-aware. Like I'm definitely aware that I'm not fucking Superman when it comes to confidence, but I'm not, I don't know, I'm not super great at being aware of what my body is doing at any given moment. So I'm pretty sure I just look like a fucking garbage man walking around. Not literally like a person whose job it is to clear garbage, but just a person. I obviously look like I am not aware of what my body's doing at any given moment. I think I've missed the torch staff. I can't find that thief anywhere. Oh well. Like now, I just fucking picked my nose. I'm not on camera, but I just picked my nose, and that's not super polite to do in public. And I guess I'm not in public. I'm in beautiful Tim Friend Studios. Anyway, well, you might as well have Thurine and Fiora get some support shit together. Might be using Fiora if she keeps on being fucking, if she's as great as her base stats imply. But God, I don't know. I really gotta fucking come up with a list of people that I'm actually going to use in the game. Because right now it's just sort of like, fuck, I don't know, Kent, Sane, Hollywood, Hector Lynn, Florina, Merc, I guess? Shit, who's Merc? No one knows who Merc is. Kent gets some luring that pirate away from Oswin, who's sort of between a rock and a cavalier's place. Kent continues to get the best levels of anyone in the team currently. Oh, an enemy monk. I always like it when the enemy has, like, light magic users. I don't know, it sort of implies that the enemy isn't all bad. And I want more Fire Emblems to have that sort of morally gray area, where it's not, these guys are obviously bad, and these guys are obviously good, so fight the obviously bad guys by using the obviously good guys. Like, I want to see, you know, allying with people that aren't necessarily trustworthy, and like that kind of comes to bite you in the ass, and fighting against people that aren't necessarily all evil, and not being able to recruit all the good guys is definitely cool. Actually, Fire Emblem 8, also known as Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, does a really good job with that. The enemy is really sympathetic once you start realizing what's going on, and has some really sort of sympathetic bosses as well that you can't recruit. It does the story part really well. Oh god, excuse me, that was disgusting. It does the story part really well, is what I was saying, but it also makes the difficulty go down to fucking 0, which is kind of a bummer, because it has some really cool units that I'd want to make use of more, but it doesn't feel like challenging. I just beat it pretty recently on hard mode, and it was not that hard, you know? Like, I don't mean to be like, hey, I'm the fucking best of Fire Emblem because I do shit on hard mode, but it's a pretty easy game if I don't have to... I mean, I was able to do it on hard mode, and I was able to do it with a sort of a janky run. Like, I did a Mount Emblem run, as I came to call it, where every unit I used except one was on a horse or Pegasus or Wyvern. And, like, the units are so good that you could just do that with no penalty. Like, I mean, to be fair, a lot of mounted units are good in most Fire Emblem games. That's just sort of how they run in Fire Emblem Town. but we'll give this a shot just because of the one-shot capability. Nice, good job, Oswin. It's just mounted units tend to be good, I mean, even just because they have movement speed. But in Fire Emblem 8, there was only one unit that was not incredible as a mounted unit, and I had to bench him. I mean, I did have to bench him just to bring back one of my on-foot spellcasters, because I needed some more heals and magical damage in general. But, I don't know, I think the game should be able to do that. Let me make this clear. I think the game should be able to be beaten by fucking almost any combination of characters. But I also think that it shouldn't be that easy, I guess, to do a janky-ass challenge run like I did. And it was like, there were only a few missions. Like, there was one mission in particular that I had to restart over and over and over again. And a lot of missions I usually did have to take at least 2 swings at. But, like, the final missions, once all my characters were promoted, they got really, really strong. And it almost did fail, or it stopped being a challenge once I got to the very end. And partly it's because of the enemy design, because the enemies in Fire Emblem 8 have a lot of monsters, which are really cool design-wise, but also have really just awful stats. They're so easy to defeat. Their only threat lies with the numbers, and some of them have really good weapons that can really fuck you up. But even if they have really good weapons that can fuck you up, they can still fucking be crushed in almost one round by anything, except like these monsters like 60 HP Cyclopses and shit like that. Which sounds awesome, and they are, like, they're cool designs, but they're not as threatening as like enemy soldiers, just because their stats don't bring it home. Anyway, so Fire Emblem 8, it's really fucking delivers on the story and the characters. Like, the main characters in that game are pretty incredible. And I really like the main plot line. It's got a good sort of double arc in that way. When I mean double arc, I don't mean like 2 parallel arcs, but like a McDonald's arch, where it's like there's I guess there's sort of like the prologue storyline, and then there's whichever main character you follow's storyline up until where they reunite, and then there's the final storyline. I guess it's a triple arch, like the letter M. But like the middle arch and the second arch are really fucking good with their sort of enemy sympathy type stuff. And I think a Fire Emblem game that does that really deserves sort of a special mentions, I guess. So I'm mentioning, especially. This is fucking meaningless. So, I don't know. I feel like you can do games where you feel sympathy for those you're fighting against, and a lot of Fire Emblem games make you feel like no sympathy. Like, the enemies they're fucking despicable personality-wise. Like, Nurgle in this game, he's a fucking monster. He's a monster. He's like fucking reanimating shit and using dragons to get power for himself. Spoiler alerts, incredible spoiler alerts. But whatever, I don't care at this point. It's not, you don't feel like he's relatable in any way. You're just like, oh yeah, he's an asshole. Let's go fuck him up in every way. And your allies are all fucking paragons of virtue, and it doesn't feel like you're, I don't know, there's no room for doubt in this Fire Emblem game, because there's no reason for doubt. You never feel like you might be doing the wrong thing, or you never feel like the enemy might have some good ideas. They're all irredeemable assholes up until the third arch, or arc. I keep saying arch because of McDonald's. The third arc of the game, where you start encountering people in the Black Fang that aren't just fucking monsters, which is good, and that's when we get one of my favorite characters in the game. But if it doesn't happen till then it probably doesn't have as great a build-up as it should. So like, you get a lot of you only get a lot of backstory on the Black Fang, which are theoretically like a large enemy in the game. You only get like a lot of backstory on them in the later stages of the game, and you only get to really know some of the personalities in there in the later stages of the game when you're killing them. So it's not, I mean, they're sympathetic, but it's no, like I was talking about Game of Thrones, there was no build-up. And I want that build-up, you know? I like things to be slow and methodical, I guess. I like things to increase, you know? Does that make sense? I know you can't respond, but, you know, you're my friend, and I value your opinion. So, I mean, if you do feel differently, I mean, fuck, let me know. We're almost done with this mission. We've really crushed through it. It's what, fucking turn 6 of 15? Partly because we really wanted that torch staff, but it looks like that's another nope on the torch staff situation. We've still got reinforcements coming in from the north in the forms of, I think, Pegasus Knights and Pirates, which is another way that Hector normal modes just sort of replaces reinforcements with Pegasus Knights instead of adding on to them with Pegasus Knights, because normally it would just be, it'd be 2 sets of Pirates instead of 1 set of Pirates, 1 set of Pegasus Knights. Almost forgot what I was talking about there. But yeah, I think Uhai is on this tile, unless they change that the fuck up too. It's annoying because he's on a forest, and he's a promoted unit, and he's a fast one at that. So it's actually pretty difficult to deal with him. We're gonna have to, we're gonna bring Oswin down using our Pegasus sisters here, just because it's, we want a little bait, if we can get it, to draw out the longbow fire of Uhai. We will use Hector though. There he is. There's that Uhai. What are his stats like? 15, 13, 12. Holy shit. And 12, 13. Even his resistance is higher than his fucking speed. So we won't be using goddamn whoever it is, Urk, to deal with him. He does have the Orion's Bolt. He's a fucking Killing Edge? Jesus Christ! I think he's a Steel Sword in Eliwood's version. And having a fucking Killing Edge way changes the game, because now he could just get a goddamn critical and end the entire thing. Oh well, that's only in melee range, so if we can trick him into using the longbow and then switch him, or pin him down with a melee weapon, then that would be probably our best way to deal with him. We gotta keep moving Priscilla down here. We gotta make sure to use her as much as possible if we can. Here comes the longbow shot. Are you the one responsible for Layla's death? And if I were, what would you do? I'm not entirely sure, but I do know that you would not draw another breath. I love him. Hector's really... he's an asshole, but, you know, he's to the point. He doesn't fuck around. That's my Hector. He's, fiercely vengeful, I guess. That doesn't make him sound great, does it? But, he is. He's fierce, and he loves vengeance. God, that makes him sound awful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is there planes there? No, that's another forest. I'm trying to see what the rescue chain would have to be like for Marcus to pull Hector out of there. It looks like Marcus would probably survive if like Hector went in with the wolf bale, hit or missed, and then came out. How would Lynn do? Lynn actually does very well, but she would not survive. Excuse me. She would not survive any like longbow attacks from Uhai. But I'm fairly confident in our ability to rescue Chain her out of danger, especially because Kent also has the same defense as Marcus, and so like they would take 14 damage probably from Uhai, maybe 16 if they were on a plains instead of a forest. How can a proud man like you live as an assassin? I sympathize with Brendan Reed's ideology. Here's a little backstory of Black Fang, actually. Black Fang is led by Brendan Reed. He wants to help the weak, to break the overly proud. Discussing this philosophy with Brendan and his sons, training together, getting stronger together. For me, the Black Fang was the first place that felt like home. Felt? Is that feeling gone? The Black Fang has changed. Nurgle sent that woman, but it's too late for me to change now. Why? Talk to us. We may be able to help. Expect no quarter merely because we're both nomads. But come on, dialogue. Prepare yourself. Oh, Uhai. That's a sympathetic villain. Like we just met him, and he's already sympathetic. And Lynn gets a crit, and fucking wins the shit. Then wins the shit faster than I expected. Since we did complete the mission within 15 turns, Uhai says, "Here, go south, turn at the rotted tree, head west. There lies the path to the Dragon's Gate," which I think is dialogue specific to us unlocking the secret mission. I could be wrong. I don't really care. Lynn gets level up and is very Lynn about it. God, get strength, Lynn. Christ's sakes. But she does get the Orion's Bolt, which is the promotion item for archers and nomads, actually. But we don't have any nomads just yet, so we'll use it on Rebecca when she comes of age. And next time on Tim Friend, will she come of age? No. But we'll probably play the next chapter. Tim Friend.